Well, this video here is going to be somewhat of a different video. I just wanted to share with you guys this piece of equipment that we have just bought. While we were doing wheat, we were kind of in the market for a backhoe. If you recall, we had demoed a John Deere, I think it was a 310 something or other backhoe. I didn't have any footage of it. I think Charlotte ended up videoing my father for a brief hot minute. He dug a stone out with it. He used it a fair amount, but we weren't really, well, we wanted to explore some other options, and we ended up picking up this Cat 420 XE Backhoe. Now, my brother had some concerns with the John Deere backhoe. It was a little clumsy, turning the seat around in the cab. And he had looked at these cats, along with my father and my nephew, and it's just got a better cab design than what the John Deere had. And there was a couple other features that went along a little better as well. Now, this backhoe is a used machine. It's got 490 some odd hours on it. A municipality had it, and it is just about like new. It's got a new bucket up front, and it's also got a new bucket on the back. The bucket up front is a detachable bucket. We might get a bale spear for it. We're not quite sure. It's also got a third function up front, and it has a nice screw-on coupler, which these are a lot better than the actual flat face couplers that give you a lot of problem with trying to hook and unhook them under any kind of pressure. You can neutralize the hydraulic force, and you can never get them damn things to hook up. That screw type coupler should be the ticket. This machine here has it's got some real nice features to the cab, and that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to kind of show you it here. What it has is it has the joystick controls right on the seat. So when you are in forward motion and you want to use the bucket, once you lock the seat around to the forward position, this right hand lever here does the front bucket. It maneuvers the front bucket. When you flip the seat around, and it's got a lot of room, there's a lot of foot room here, you can just turn yourself around without having to cramp yourself in. Once the seat locks around to the rear position, this lever here now runs the stick. You've got both hand functions are going to run the backhoe portion of this machine. Now, this also has the ability to go between I gotta find the lever, go between excavator controls and backhoe controls. It's got a nice instrument panel here, and when you're operating the machine, as soon as this comes to life here, you can just select between backhoe and excavator function with this toggle switch right here, and you could switch. It's on excavator control now. You could switch it to backhoe. Most guys that run an excavator all day long cannot get in a backhoe and run it. The backhoe controls are backwards. So with these newer machines, you do have the ability to change that function. It's got 492.8 hours on it. So this cab was a little better. It's set up quite a bit better than the John Deere. The John Deere was real clumsy. When you went to turn the seat around, you could not turn the seat around without getting up out of the seat. And it also had a rod that came up through the center here, right in between your legs. And I think that was to lock the hoe for transporting it down the road. This one has, you could pull this pin up out and drop that in, and it also has, that's just so that the stick doesn't swing side to side. But other than that, that should about give you the idea of how this machine is. Another thing you can do to it, if you want to load a truck, say on your right hand side, you can turn the seat to the side position here. You can switch this toggle switch here, and it will allow you to run the backhoe portion of the backhoe with the seat in the turned position. It also has an extend a hoe, and that function you can run right from the actual joystick. So it's got an extend a hoe, and it also has a thumb on the dipper bucket, if you will, and that is also controlled by the function on the joystick. Now this one didn't have the thumb on it when we bought it. However, the Cat machines are all set for a thumb. The bracket is already on there, and the hydraulic valve is there. All you have to do is put the thumb on it and plug in the hydraulic hose. The John Deere was going to have some fabrication done to put the thumb on it. Now we have a older John Deere backhoe. It's a 310, and that has a mechanical thumb. We don't really use it all that much. And the bucket on the John Deere is not removable. This bucket here is a 1.3 yard bucket. We will occasionally use this to maybe load lime in the field, but other than that, what we'll use this machine for is to repair tile, dig a miscellaneous stone out here and there. Now we do have excavators, but you have to put one of them on a trailer to get it anywhere. And this here, you could just drive down the road with it and get it on the job you need it to do. The other function that this has as well is you can run a hydraulic function up front, maybe a power broom or a grapple bucket of some kind. But I just thought I would mainly show you the controls on this machine. They are above and beyond the controls that the John Deere backhoe has. I didn't think it was too big of a deal until my brother brought it to my attention. He really didn't like the way the operator seat swung around in the John Deere. I didn't think it was too big of a deal because it was no worse than the older backhoe that we had. But once you get inside a Cat machine, it's just a lot better turning in and around with that seat. If you're digging or digging a trench, if you will, and if you're all the time having to swing that seat around to move the machine forward or backward, that can get tiresome. This also has a door on the right hand side, which is kind of handy. I don't recall if that John Deere machine that we had, I don't know if that had a access door on that other side or not, but that would be handy if you were up alongside a building on the left side and you wanted to get out the right. This does have the auxiliary fluid container for diesel exhaust fluid, but you really can't get away from that. But the Cat is a real nice machine, and we have a few Cat pieces here. So we're gonna go ahead and grab some samples of corn. We need to do a moisture test, and we're gonna go ahead and do that now. So we'll join up with you in a few minutes here. Well, that'll give you an idea of what the backhoe is like, and I thought I would just kind of give you a little bit of a treat here. We might as well go on a field tour here. We'll just scout some fields and we'll fill you just full of just non-stop nonsense. This field here is the second field that we planted with the small planter this year. And my father was planting that one while I was headed to the field that I planted first with the corn planter after the rebuild. That is this one right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go out and pick some ears of corn, and we're gonna count around the ear. We're gonna tell you how many kernels there is, and we're just gonna kind of give you a crop tour. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna bore you with that crap. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to go out into this field. I'm gonna cut some corn stalks. We're gonna gather them, and we're gonna run them through that little chopper thing to get a moisture, an idea of where the moisture is. Now this is a Pioneer PO or P149. It's it's 114 day variety. They say it's 112, but it's somewhere around that 112 to 114 day of relative maturity. That's the amount of days from when you plant it up until its optimum harvesting date. This looks rather green, and BMR looks deceiving. The browner BMR will actually be quite high still in moisture, and there isn't any brown here. It's all green. So we'll quit yakking and we'll just grab some corn stalks. We've got a couple other fields we're going to grab samples from, and we'll kind of show you the process around how we get and receive a moisture sample outside of running the corn through the chopper. So we were on our way to the next field that I wanted to grab a sample from, and on this farm here, the variety of corn that we have planted on each field is a BMR variety as well. It's a Pioneer PO 956 AMX. It is 109 day relative maturity, which is 5 days shorter than the field that we just came out of. This was planted on the 20th of May, and what we planted, the field that we came out of was planted on the 9th of May. So we're 11 days in between, but this is 5 days shorter. So we should be around 6 days, a 6 day difference between the two different varieties here. So we're gonna go ahead and walk around this excavator, since we walked around the backhoe a little while ago. This is a Cat 306 excavator. We picked this up, well, my father did, a few weeks ago. We have a larger excavator. I believe it's a 312 maybe, Cat excavator. We also have a John Deere, I don't know if it's a 35 or something like that. I don't operate this equipment at all. But we kind of bought this to take the place of that little 35 John Deere. It is quite a bit bigger than it, and my father really likes this machine. It does really well. It has an angled blade up front, rubber tracks, and he's got a large ditching bucket for it. He's got a tooth bucket over here. Actually, he's got two of them. And well, that's a ditch clean out bucket. This would be a ditching bucket, and then your wider regular bucket. But it is quite the nice little machine. We really like the cat stuff. It is primo. We've had good luck with it. We've got a cat bulldozer, this mini excavator, the larger excavator, which probably should be something like a 320 with the amount of work that he ends up doing with that medium-sized excavator. He should have a larger one. This has the hydraulic thumb on it, just like the backhoe. So I guess we could show you the cab. I am about out of battery here. I'm hoping that this thing doesn't kick me off. He's got a fair amount of dirt on the floor, but he has been doing a lot of work with this. We've had this for a couple, 2-3 weeks now, and he uses it to fix driveways. He has done some maintenance here. We got a gas line that goes through there. He had to get that tagged, and a lot of this is just maintenance. We seeded that lot there. There was a tile line, a clay tile that came through here, and it kind of went over that way. This farm that we're on is actually my grandmother's parents' farm, and we don't own it. We rent it from a landlord, but my father's first cousin used to live in that house there, and when he built that house, he used to have a well out front, and the clay tile went through, fed the water to that well. However, it's not being used anymore, and it made this end of the field wet. So my father fixed that, and he's got it draining into the ditch, the road ditch. So I guess that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll catch you at the next one. Remember, guys, if it ain't a John Deere, it better be one of these. So we'll catch you at the next one. Take her easy. Well, we closed out the video a little too early here. I kind of forgot to show you this process here. So what we have is two different varieties of corn planted 3 to 4 days apart. We've got a Pioneer I don't know if it's PO 1449 or P 1449, and we've got a Brevant B 14U 72 something or other. Both are 114-day relative maturity corn. The Brevant always matures a little faster than the Pioneer. So you'll notice that the Pioneer is greener than the other. We're gonna run it through this homeowner special. We'll grind it up, and then we'll show you how we end up weighing it, and I'll explain that process here after we run it through this little leaf or mulching device here. Once that starts turning, clean out the throat. Clean out the throat. Put the bag right underneath that. Clean out the throat. All right, so you get the idea of what we need to do. We're running it through. We're chopping it up in little pieces. We've got the Pioneer sample. Now we need to do the Brevant sample. And then what we'll do is we will weigh this, and we'll show you that process here once we get done with chopping up that next sample there. All right, so what we have is we have 2 samples. Both of them are ground up, chopped in each bag. We've got one bag there and another one over there. Tim's gonna have to refresh my memory on which one is which. What we have here is 2 Coster testers. We've got one here and we've got one there. Along with the 2 Coster testers, we have 2 empty baskets. We're gonna put the corn silage, we're gonna put one variety in one basket. We're gonna put the other variety in the other basket. So we've got our dope measuring scale here. This is kind of a dual purpose scale. We use it for our extracurricular items, and we use it for measuring out our samples. What we're gonna do is we're going to put 100 grams of corn silage in each basket. We're gonna put these baskets on these Coster testers, and what there is a heating element inside each of these units, and what that's going to do is it's going to dry out the sample, and when it dries out the sample, it's going to be getting rid of the moisture. If we weigh 100 grams and when we get done we weigh 36 grams, that means it was 64% moisture. I think I have that right. That's right. All right. Well, this has been on the cooker about long enough. So we've got our scale fired up, got our own grams. Now this is the new burner, and we have a sample weight of 207 grams, and this is at 658. It hasn't changed in the last 30 minutes. So this sample here is 67% moisture. That needs to be gotten. Now that sample can vary quite a bit. I mean, it can vary by 3 or 4 points. So, which is gonna err on the side of, go ahead, you can set that on there. It's gonna err on our plus side. This other sample, which was from the field that we had planted first, and that sample is 223 grams, and that is 61% moisture. So we need to be getting on it here, like right now. I was hoping to see 71 and 77. But that is not the case. So we're gonna have to get this hay cleaned up and out of the way here. And that is gonna do it. So that puts us into a little bit of a stressful moment, doesn't it? So we're gonna have to get her done here. So got a neighbor stopping in. This guy's gonna pull right in. So we'll catch you at the next one, folks.